There is a place on this earth where the ground melts your shoes before you have taken your third step, where the air you breathe tastes like battery acid, and the water that bubbles up from below is hot enough to strip the skin from your bones, where the temperature never drops below 34 degrees Celsius, not in January, not at night, not ever, and where the nearest hospital is a 3-day drive across a landscape so remote that maps of the region still carry blank spaces, as if cartographers simply gave up. You are not there yet, but you will be. By the end of this video, you will have traveled to 10 of the most lethal places on this planet. Places where the water petrifies, where the ground burns without stopping, where the cold splits metal, where the air itself is poison. Some are forbidden by law, some are forbidden by nature. One is forbidden by both. And the last one, the number one, is a place so hostile that scientists have called it the cruelest environment on Earth. A place where every single element is trying to kill you at the same time. Stay until the end, because the number one will change the way you think about this planet. Before we begin, drop a comment below and tell me where in the world you are watching from, and what time it is right now. I want to see how many countries this video reaches by the time we reach number 1. Number 10. Ilha da Queimada Grande, Brazil. 33 kilometers off the coast of São Paulo, there is an island that appears on no tourist map. It has no hotels, no trails, no fresh water, and no permission for visitors. The Brazilian Navy explicitly prohibits anyone from setting foot on its shores, and the reason is not geological or chemical. It is biological. This island, roughly 43 hectares of rainforest and rocky shoreline, is home to between 2,000 and 4,000 golden lancehead vipers, a species found nowhere else on Earth. That density translates to roughly 1 snake per square meter in certain areas of the island. 1 snake per square meter. The golden lancehead, Bothrops insularis, evolved in isolation after the last ice age cut the island off from the mainland, roughly 11,000 years ago. With no ground-level prey available, the snakes learned to hunt migratory birds, and to bring down a bird before it flies away. Their venom evolved to be among the most potent of any viper on the planet, roughly 3 to 5 times stronger than that of their closest mainland relative, the jararaca. A single bite can cause internal bleeding, kidney failure, and death within an hour. There are no confirmed records of a human dying on the island from a bite, but that is because almost no human has ever been allowed to set foot there. Local legends speak of a lighthouse keeper and his family who were killed by the snakes, their bodies found in a pool of blood. The legend has never been verified, but the snakes are real, the venom is real, and the island remains sealed. The Brazilian government's restriction is not a suggestion, it is a survival measure. This island does not want you there, and it has filled every square meter with a reason to stay away. Number 9. Valley of Death, Kamchatka, Russia. In the far eastern reaches of Russia, on the Kamchatka Peninsula, there is a valley that sits at the foot of the Kikpinich volcano. It is small, roughly 2 kilometers long and 500 meters wide, and it is surrounded by some of the most breathtaking wilderness on Earth. Volcanoes, geysers, hot springs, and pristine rivers frame this little patch of Earth like a painting. But inside the valley, everything dies. The first sign is the smell. Hydrogen sulfide, the rotten egg stench of volcanic gas, hangs low and heavy in the air. Then you see the ground. It is littered with carcasses. Rodents, foxes, bears, wolverines, ravens, Steller's sea eagles. The animals do not die of disease or starvation. They are killed by the air itself. The Kikpinich volcano continuously releases a cocktail of toxic gases, primarily hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, and carbon disulfide, that are heavier than air. They pool in the valley's low ground like an invisible lake. A small rodent enters. It collapses within minutes. A fox follows, drawn by the scent of the carcass. It too collapses. A bear comes to scavenge. It dies. The valley kills in cascading waves, each death luring the next predator into the trap. Soviet volcanologist V.L. Leonov discovered the valley in July 1975, and since then, researchers have confirmed that the gases concentrate most lethally in the warmer months, when the temperature differential traps them close to the ground. Even experienced field scientists must wear gas masks to enter. Without one, you would smell the sulfur, feel your lungs burn and lose consciousness, and then the valley would add you to its collection. A place of extraordinary beauty that kills everything that walks in. The planet does not need fire to be lethal. Sometimes it only needs air. Number 8, Lake Natron, Tanzania. In northern Tanzania, near the border with Kenya, there's a lake that looks like it belongs on another planet. Its waters turn blood red, orange, and deep crimson depending on the season, stained by salt-loving microorganisms that thrive in conditions no fish can survive. Lake Natron is a soda lake, highly alkaline with a pH between 9 and 10.5. That is not acidic. It is the opposite. It is caustic. The water is so alkaline that it can burn human skin on prolonged contact, and temperatures at the surface can reach 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The lake is fed by hot springs rich in sodium carbonate, and by a single river that carries volcanic minerals from the surrounding Rift Valley. The combination of extreme heat and extreme alkalinity creates an environment that is, for most life forms, instantly fatal. Birds and bats that fall into the water die quickly, and the soda and salt minerals effectively mummify their bodies, preserving them in a hardened, stone-like crust. Photographer Nick Brandt's famous images of these calcified animals, posed as if frozen mid-motion, circulated around the world and gave rise to the claim that the lake turns animals to stone. The reality is slightly more nuanced. The animals die in or near the water, and the mineral-rich environment preserves their bodies in a shell of sodium carbonate. They are not petrified alive. But the effect is no less eerie. Entire flocks of flamingos have been found preserved along the shoreline, their bodies curved as if in flight, their feathers intact, their eyes gone. And yet, and this is the strangest part, Lake Natron is the primary breeding ground for the lesser flamingo, a species that has adapted to this inferno. 2.5 million flamingos come here to nest each year, building their mounds of salt mud above the caustic waterline. Life found a way. But for everything else, for you, this lake is a bath of lie and heat that would preserve your body as a monument to your own mistake. A lake that looks like a painting and kills like a solvent. The earth makes art from death, and it does not apologize. Number 7, Darvaza Gas Crater, Turkmenistan. In the heart of the Karakum Desert, one of the driest places on Earth, there is a hole in the ground that has been burning for more than 50 years. It is 69 meters wide and 30 meters deep, and its walls glow with the orange and yellow light of a fire that never stops. The locals call it the door to hell. The story is this. In 1971, Soviet geologists were drilling for natural gas in the Karakum when the ground beneath their rig collapsed, swallowing the equipment and opening a crater that began leaking methane, a poisonous, flammable gas. Fearing that the methane would spread to nearby villages and poison the population, the scientists decided to set the crater on fire, expecting the gas to burn off in a few weeks. It did not. It has been burning since 1971. Over 50 years of continuous fire, fed by a massive underground deposit of natural gas that shows no sign of running out. The crater burns day and night, in a desert where summer temperatures exceed 50 degrees Celsius, making the air around the crater almost unbearable. The ground near the edge is hot enough to melt the soles of shoes. The smell of sulfur saturates everything. In 2013, Canadian explorer George Kourounis became the first person to descend into the crater, wearing a heat-resistant suit and breathing apparatus. He described the interior as a wall of fire in every direction, the ground crunching beneath his boots like glass, a crust of baked sand and sulfur. A local legend persists that the Soviet geologists who caused the collapse were never seen again, swallowed by the crater they created. This has never been confirmed. It may be nothing more than a story born of fear and desert isolation, but the fire is real. It has been burning for longer than most people on this planet have been alive, and it will likely still be burning long after we are gone. The Earth swallowed a mistake and turned it into a permanent scar of flame. Some doors, once opened, do not close. Number 6, Death Valley, United States. In eastern California, on the border with Nevada, there is a valley that holds a record no place on Earth wants to hold. On July 10, 1913, at Furnace Creek Ranch, the air temperature was recorded at 56.7 degrees Celsius, 134.1 degrees Fahrenheit. It is the highest officially recognized air temperature ever measured on this planet. Some scientists have questioned the reliability of that 1913 measurement, noting possible instrumentation issues. But even if you discount it, Death Valley has recorded modern temperatures of 54.4 degrees Celsius in June and August of recent years, and the ground surface temperature can exceed 90 degrees, hot enough to cook an egg on the ground, which tourists eye, regularly attempt and which park rangers regularly have to clean up. The valley sits 86 meters below sea level, a deep basin flanked by mountain ranges that trap the heat and prevent it from escaping. The air is dry. The ground is baked. There is almost no shade. Despite its name, Death Valley is not the most lethal place in the United States in terms of annual deaths. That grim title belongs to more populated areas prone to heat waves. But it has killed. During the California Gold Rush in 1849, a group of pioneers attempted to cross the valley and, finding no water, barely survived. One of them reportedly looked back and said, "Goodbye, Death Valley," giving the place its name. In modern times, hikers have died from heat stroke after underestimating the distance and overestimating their water supply. The valley is not a sudden killer like a volcano or a snake. It is a slow, patient one. It lets you walk in, it lets you feel the heat build. And then, mile by mile, it drains the water from your body until there is nothing left. A valley named for death that earned the name honestly. The heat does not chase you. It waits. Number 5. Oymyakon, Russia. In the Sakha Republic, deep in Siberia, there is a village of roughly 500 people where the temperature has dropped to minus 71.2 degrees Celsius. That is the lowest temperature ever recorded in a permanently inhabited place on Earth. Oymyakon is so cold that the ground is permanently frozen. Permafrost that extends hundreds of meters deep, that has been frozen for thousands of years, and that will not thaw in your lifetime or your children's. In winter, the sun rises for only 3 hours a day, and the air is so cold that it freezes the moisture in your breath into a fine white powder that hangs in the air like smoke. Exposed skin can develop frostbite in under a minute. Cars must be kept running at all times. If you turn off the engine, the oil freezes, and the car will not start again until spring. There is no indoor plumbing. The pipes would freeze and burst. Water is delivered by truck and stored in tanks. When someone dies, the ground is too frozen to dig a grave, and the body must be kept in a cold storage shed until the ground thaws enough, sometimes months later. The people who live here, the Yakut, have adapted over centuries, but even for them, winter is a season of survival. A child walking to school in minus 50 degrees is not remarkable here. It is Tuesday, and yet people live here. They have lived here for generations. They hunt, they fish, they raise cattle, they endure. Oymyakon is not a place that kills you instantly. It is a place that tests every second of your existence and punishes any mistake with the slow, grinding violence of absolute cold. A village where the air itself is a weapon, and where simply existing is an act of defiance against a planet that did not design this place for human comfort. We are at the halfway point, and if you think what we have seen so far is extreme, what comes next is on another level entirely. If you have not subscribed yet, now would be the moment. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss what is coming. And tell me in the comments, which of these places would you never set foot in, even for $1 million? We read every comment. Number 4. North Sentinel Island, India. In the Bay of Bengal, part of India's Andaman archipelago, there is an island roughly the size of Manhattan that is completely sealed off from the outside world. Not by volcanoes, not by gas, not by cold, by the people who live there. The Sentinelese are one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. They have lived on North Sentinel Island for an estimated 30,000 years, and they have made it abundantly clear, with spears, arrows, and violence, that they do not want contact with anyone. The Indian government has made it illegal to approach within 9.6 kilometers of the island, under the Andaman and Nicobar Protection of Aboriginal Tribes Regulation of 1956. The law exists for two reasons: to protect the Sentinelese from diseases they have no immunity to. A common cold could wipe them out, and to protect outsiders from the Sentinelese themselves. In 1991, anthropologist Triloknath Pandit made the only documented peaceful contact, approaching the shore and leaving gifts. The tribe accepted the coconuts but gave no indication of welcoming further visits. No one has attempted official contact since. In 2006, 2 fishermen were killed when their boat drifted too close to the island. And in November 2018, a 26-year-old American missionary named John Allen Chow paid fishermen to smuggle him to the island, determined to make contact and convert the tribe to Christianity. He approached the shore in a kayak. The Sentinelese fired arrows. He was hit and killed. His body was never recovered. The fishermen who ferried him were arrested. The Indian government chose not to attempt a retrieval operation, deeming it too dangerous and too great a risk to the tribe. John Allen Chow's death was not a mystery. It was a message. The Sentinelese have been saying the same thing for centuries: stay away. And the world has finally learned to listen. An island where the deadliest force is not nature, but the people who have survived it, and who do not want our help, our religion, or our presence. Some borders are drawn not by governments but by arrows. Number 3. Mount Nyiragongo, Democratic Republic of the Congo. In the Virunga National Park, in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, there is a volcano that contains something almost no other volcano on Earth has: a permanent churning lake of molten lava inside its summit crater. The crater is roughly 1.2 kilometers wide. The lava lake has been active for over half a century, observed continuously since the late 19th century. A roiling, glowing cauldron of liquid rock that can reach temperatures of nearly 1200 degrees Celsius. But what makes Nyiragongo truly deadly is not the heat of its lava. It is the speed. The lava from Nyiragongo is among the most fluid on Earth. Its chemical composition gives it a viscosity so low that it can flow downhill at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour. That is faster than a car on a highway. On January 10th, 1977, the crater wall fractured and the lava lake drained through the flanks of the volcano in a matter of minutes. The flow was so fast that people living on the slopes had no time to flee. Estimates vary, but more than 600 people were killed. The Guinness Book of World Records recognizes this as the fastest lava flow ever recorded, with speeds between 60 and 100 kilometers per hour. In 2002, Nyiragongo erupted again, and this time the lava reached the city of Goma, a city of over 600,000 people. Lava poured through the streets, destroying homes, cutting the airport runway in half, and displacing hundreds of thousands. At least 147 people were confirmed dead, though the true number may be higher. And in 2021, the volcano erupted once more, killing at least 32 people and displacing hundreds of thousands more. Nyiragongo is not a sleeping giant. It is an awake one. It has erupted at least 34 times since 1882, and scientists monitoring it have noted that the lava lake level rises and falls in ways that are still not fully understood. The people of Goma live in its shadow, knowing that at any moment, a river of fire could pour down the mountain at the speed of a car and reach their homes before they have time to put on their shoes. A volcano that does not warn you. It simply arrives at 100 kilometers per hour in the dark in the color of the Earth's interior. Before we reach number 1, if you are still here, make sure that subscribe button is red. If it is not, fix that. And tell me in the comments, which place on this list has shocked you the most so far? We read everything. Number 2, Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine. On April 26, 1986, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, roughly 110 kilometers north of Kyiv, exploded during a safety test gone catastrophically wrong. The explosion was not a nuclear detonation. It was a steam and chemical explosion that blew the roof off the reactor and released radioactive material into the atmosphere in quantities the world had never seen. 30 workers and firefighters died within the first 3 months, 28 of them from acute radiation sickness. They were the men who ran toward the fire. Firefighters who picked up pieces of graphite with their bare hands. not knowing they were handling fuel rods emitting lethal doses of radiation. Operators who stayed at their posts, absorbing doses that would kill them in days. The World Health Organization has confirmed